There we go, right as promised. Even though I lost a subscriber and lack of sleep over it last night, I'm back and we are just a few seconds away from playing the beta access version of Planet Zoo, which is only available in the Deluxe edition. So let's see. By the way, it is also a good idea to get the feel of the game, get used to the controls and stuff. That being said, I won't waste much time. I know you guys are impatient ones. So, let's go. No.
Oh.
Let's go with this one for a while. And it will be like a bit more bulkier. A bit. No, not that. What's with the neck? Yeah. There we go. Perfect. Now the head. Slow down there, Edward. This looks a bit better. Nah. This is more of my own personal style. But let's experiment with this. Do you see which one I made? It is one of my favorite YouTubers. One of my favorite gaming YouTubers, I should say. It's actually weird. Anyway, I won't do that. I might get a copyright strike or something. A simple goatee should do. Yeah, like this. Too nerdy. What's this? A button-up shirt? I thought it was a hood. No. Yeah, not the color I want exactly. Go with this. Nice. As for the pants, can we remove them? Just a second. No. Hipster jeans. Nope. Something. Nice. Can we undo stuff? What's with the... They really need to work on... No. Don't do that. I think it's locked. I think I need to get back, I think. Yeah, it's definitely locked. It's kind of like Okay, I can't even accept things. What is going on? This is why sometimes a beta access is problematic, but no worries. We'll just close it. Where's the... Can we pause the stream? Nope, still not. There's actually a freeze in this one. Wow. Remind me not to do that again. The short to fat thing. Alright. So for now, we'll quit this. I'll start a new stream, I guess. So let's start on a fresh note. If it's alright with you guys. I know I screwed up last time, so this time I won't do anything. No. Nah, not sure. Let's quickly go through that. Where's the goatee? Good. I wear glasses in real life. Orange and black because we are in a zoo, and also because I like Naruto's outfit. So yeah. No hat. So I think they are pretty cute,
Oh.
especially this one.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of reminds me of Luna's hat in the Quidditch games of
Oh.
Harry Potter.
Uh-huh.
This one.
Uh-huh. Oh.
Anyway, that being said, let's get right into it.
Yeah.
Reach your avatar HQ. HQ is where other players will see your avatar and access any rules of blueprints you have shared. Position your avatar anywhere on the globe you could create your avatar. I'll set it to here. Yes. Indian. Now, no community challenges. That's right. That being said, let's get right into it with the career mode. Because there's no sandbox mode, sadly. So let's get right into the career mode with the stately homeschooling rooted in house. The rest will be coming soon. Alright, let's get into this one. Alright. I could get used to this kind of music. I like it.
Ah, heyo at Hematu. Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. I have a habit of slipping back into the Planko language. It's good to finally meet you in person.
Oh, that's
I'm
Dodo.
Bernard, although I insist you call me Bernie. The only person who calls me Bernard is my wife. And even then, only when I've tracked elephant dung into the carpets. As you know, I own several zoos, but I always like to show people the ropes here at my home. This is the first zoo I ever opened, and a source of great pride for me. And prides, thanks to a lion breeding program we ran in the 80s. But we're in the middle of a big renovation, and that's where you come in. Sadly, our old contractor had to retire after developing a fur allergy. Poor devil kept sneezing his dentures into the lion habitat. So, it's up to you to finish everything off. Don't worry though, I'm not completely throwing you into the deep end. My head keeper, Nancy Jones, will be lending a helping hand. Oh, she's a hard worker, and she'll expect you to be too. But I'm sure you'll get along like a house on fire, or even better, one that isn't on fire. Less shouting that way.
Hello there. From that rosy, fresh face of yours, I'm guessing you're Bernie's new hire. Good. Now, I hope you're ready to ditch your diploma because we're about to get really hands-on. But before we begin the real work, how about we familiarise you with the zoo by learning how to fly around it and visiting some of our beautiful animals. We'll start by popping over and having a look-see at the grizzly bears in their habitat.
So, how do we do this? Essentials. Right, left click is select, escape is cancel. Right click plus moving it is spanning the camera. Zoom camera is a scroll like this. Spanning the camera is like this. Undo is right control plus Z. I have to work on that though. That is a bit complicated because right control and Z are both away from each other. So anyway, redo is Right control plus Y. Is there a premium? Ah, it's just the sound of the animals. Raise camera E, lower camera Q. So this is the help button, okay? Toggle flashlight L, change simulation speed O, help F1, save menu F5, and I think we got it. Well, most of it. So let's dive right into it. And the reason I'm saying that again and again is because I'm a bit tense right now, but nothing to worry.
Did you know that grizzly bears, also known as Ursus arctos horribilis, can hibernate for up to 7 months a year? Oh, but then again, given the chance, I think a lot of people would do that too. Select one of the bears and you'll bring up its information panel. This is where you can find out all kinds of information about your animal, the most important thing being its overall welfare. You'll learn more about animal welfare today as we go through your objectives, but for now, let's enjoy this magnificent animal. Why don't you select the camera at the bottom of its information panel?
How do we rotate this? How do we rotate that view? Basics. Basic control. Rotate camera. Ah, I see. So holding this. Oh, now we get it. Though I would like a bird's eye view on everything, I think this is kind of good. And also it would... What do we need to do? Ah! There we go.
See now, this is a fantastic way to get a close look at your animals. You can also get this view of an animal by simply double-clicking on it. Okay, when you're ready, let's pop over to the other side of the zoo and take a look at the lions. I've marked their location for you to find.
Look at the magnificent fur! Oh my god, I think this was only seen before in the Far Cry games. How do we cancel it? As it's snoring. There we go. So they are snoring in their habitat, but nobody's playing. What's going on? Is the water too, stale? She said she had... What's the objective? Locate the West African lion habitat. Okay. I think there it is. Slowly. The scrolling is a bit...
Panthera leo, or the West African lion to you and
there
me. Lions are the most social of the big cats, and there can be as many as 40 lions in a pride, although prides of that size are pretty rare. As Bernie would say, those lions are awesome, which is precisely why I handle the training instead these days. Anyway, how about we get started on those objectives? Come on, let's head over to our warthog habitat and see what needs doing there.
It has some frame rate drops, other issues, but let's rotate the camera. I'd like to see the male lion in all its glory. Let's look at this magnificent beast, guys. Look at him! Look at him! I think. Why is it locked at 30 FPS? There's a way to increase the FPS. VSync. VSync has to be on. Apply. Confirm. All of this stuff seems okay. Save it. Save it. Should be now saved. It takes a while to, unfreeze it. Okay. Now, about what she said about the empty habitat. I think it's this one. No. I see hippos in there. I have to remember everything. These are just fountains. Ah, that's the sound. Look, there's a mini princess. Dude. I think it's this. No, that's the grizzly bear habitat. They're swimming now. They have gotten out of the den. That's good. These are zebra habitats, I guess. Zebra, right? Yeah. So, I think it's this one. Choo. That's... Oh! That's my favorite leopard. Just let me see what animals are there in this one. That's the African buffalo, the African elephant, the African wild dog, the giant tortoises, red stag, Bengal tiger, boa constrictor, no, fuck off. Common ostrich, common warthog, Formosan black bear, Galapagos tortoise, and if you have watched my Hunter Call of the Wild live streams, you must be familiar with this animal. It's the Gems buck, or it's called Oryx. The Gario, the Scorpion, the Bird Eater, the Frog, Goliath Frog, the Grizzly, the Himalayan Brown Bear, the Hippo, the Indian Elephant, Indian Peafowl, Indian Rhinoceros, the one-horned Rhinoceros, right here. Lemon's Poison Frog, the Mandrills as they were shown in the gameplay trailers, 9 monitors, playing Zebra, Pronghorn Antelope, Reticulated Giraffe, Ringtailed Lemur, Sable Antelope, and my favorite animal, the Snow Leopard. Man, I look forward to spicing up its habitat. The springbuck, the timber wolf, the Titan beetle, the West African lion, and finally the yellow anaconda. That being said, this is the snow leopard habitat, which we'll be getting to later, but first let me see this one. Oh,
As
damn.
you can see, it's a lovely space for warthogs, but it's missing a certain something. Well, two somethings. The warthogs. So I'd like you to adopt a pair of them. To adopt animals, we need to open the animal market, which is in the animal trading section.
Animal trading section, okay.
There we are, a pair of perfectly splendid warthogs for our zoo. Just click on them and select Buy from the side menu. Normally the animal exchange would be full of animals, but I've emptied out the market while you learn how it works. The last thing I need is you accidentally ordering a dozen elephants. When you adopt an animal, it's automatically placed in the trade centre where they're held until you're ready to move them into their habitat, which, as it happens, you are. So how about you move them into their new home?
Central Zoo. Did it get stuck again? Dude! What the hell? It crashed again. It crashed again, guys. It's a beta access. What more can I expect? Okay, let me submit a report. Hold on just a minute, guys. I'll start it up again. I don't know what is going on. Anyway, hmm? App running. Okay, we have to get rid of it first. Is it running actually? Sorry for taking that much time, guys. I don't know if it's actually running. What the hell? Some things are eating up the disk. Just a second. Service host. Let's see the Steam thing. Now we aren't running it. So we could play it now. Hopefully it won't crash now. Hopefully. Finally. museum, of course.
Whoa! Whoa!
Come on, man.
Hello there. From that rosy, fresh face of yours, I'm guessing you're Bernie's new hire. Good. Now, I hope you're ready to ditch your diploma because we're about to get really hands-on. But before we begin the real work, how about we familiarise you with the zoo by learning how to fly around it and visiting some of our beautiful animals? We'll start by popping over and having a look-see at the grizzly bears in their habitat.
Now, I guess you should shut up and let me do.
Panthera leo leo, or the West African lion to you and me. Lions are the most social of the big cats, and there can be as many as 40 lions in a pride,
elephants.
although prides of that size are pretty rare. As Bernie would say, those lions are awesome, which is precisely why I handle the training instead these days. Anyway, how about we get started on those objectives? Come on, let's head over to our warthog habitat and see what needs doing there.
So, yeah,
As you can see, it's a lovely space for warthogs, but it's missing a certain something. Well, two somethings. The warthogs. So I'd like you to adopt a pair of them. To adopt animals, we need to open the animal market, which is in the animal trading section.
first things first, let's see. How do we save? How do we save it? Ah, there we go. Yes. That being done, now let's move on to.
There we are, a pair of perfectly splendid warthogs for our zoo. Just click on them and select Buy from the side menu. Normally the animal exchange would be full of animals, but I've emptied out the market while you learn how it works. The last thing I need is you accidentally ordering a dozen elephants.
Yeah, I know that. You told me that once before the game crashed.
When you adopt an animal, it's automatically placed in the trade centre where they're held until you're ready to move them into their habitat, which, as it happens, you are. So how about you move them into their new home?
Let's move the female first this time. And the other one.
When you ask for an animal to be moved into a habitat, your caretakers will go to the trade centre, collect your animal and deliver them to your selected habitat. I've marked the trade centre's location, so let's go and watch the caretakers in action.
She said she marked it. Let's see. Where is it? Ah, there it is.
Well, as you can see, those caretakers don't hang about. They'll move those animals to their destination as fast as possible. Of course, normally we'd have to place the animals into quarantine before moving them into a habitat, but I am assured by a person of good standing that these warthogs are in the very rudest of health. Right, let's get the warthog's habitat finished up so we can keep them nice and happy. You see, each animal in the zoo has an overall welfare statistic, basically how happy they are, And that overall welfare statistic is itself comprised of 4 different areas: nutrition, social health, habitat, and enrichment. Luckily, if you select an animal, you'll bring up their animal welfare information panel, which we saw earlier, where you can see how they're doing. That way, you'll know exactly what areas need to be addressed. Don't worry if that's a lot to remember. You can always check the Zoopedia for more information.
Alright. So what do we need to do next?
Let's start by making sure we're taking care of the warthog's nutrition welfare. To do this, we'll need to place a food station and a drinking station. Now, each animal requires a different type of feeding station, and for the warthogs, it's a small feeding trough. So let's add one of those and a water bowl.
So this is a feeding trough, right? Should be right in the center of it. Cancel it. And a water bowl should be somewhere close to the shed. See, somewhere here.
Animals also require stimulation to keep them happy. Let's add a lovely mud bath for the warthogs to roll around in. That bath will count towards their enrichment welfare, specifically their toy enrichment welfare.
No.
This way keeps us on.
A bit big.
Oh, nice work. You've got a knack for this, I see. Now, our contractor had to leave in a hurry, so this place is in a feral state. Unfinished thingamajigs and whatsits all over the shop. But the first thing we need to finish is the ostrich habitat. It's over near the hippos.
Alright, I'll find it. Let's close it so we get more space to maneuver. There we go.
Okay, job number 1 here is to add a habitat gate before we complete the barrier. Every habitat needs a habitat gate. After all, how else would the keepers get in and out? Just make sure it's hooked up to the path so the keepers can reach it. Let's complete the perimeter barrier so we can adopt us some ostriches. I've marked out an area for you to use, so I'd like you to finish off the perimeter using the brick barrier.
Ah, we have to do it like this. Okay. No. You stay right where you are. Let's give this ostriches the maximum space available, right?
Good work! Remember, before you can place animals in any habitat, it has to have a full loop of connected barrier. Now, you've probably noticed that guests can't actually see into this habitat at the moment. At least not without a stepladder. But seeing as they're banned, I'd like you to select a piece of barrier and swap out the brick for a glass barrier, so the guests can see in.
Swap out the brick for glass, okay? So, let's swap out this. No, it's too close to the gate. That's fine. How do we do the swapping out then? how do we do the swapping out then?
There we go. Adding in more windows gives guests even more opportunities to see the animals in a habitat. It's always best to make sure the guests can get a good view into a habitat from the path they're walking on, because it makes them happy, and because this would be a pretty terrible zoo if they couldn't. The last thing we need to do is to add a donation box. You see, when guests enjoy the view of an animal, they'll make a donation. Just make sure you put them in easy to reach places like near a viewing point. Donation boxes are one of the main sources of income for the zoo, so make sure you remember them.
Alright. This is a donation box and we need to place it close to viewing areas, so...
Alright, you've finished the habitat, so it's high time we adopted those ostriches, don't you think?
Yep.
Let's get 4 of them in here.
4? Why do we need 4? Before we do anything, save the thing. Yes. Will take a while, just a few seconds, I should say. That's it. We're done. That being said, let's get those ostriches. Adopt them. 4 of them, right? Adopt. 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 Ah, this one's low on fertility. Send to zoo. Send to zoo. Okay, they renamed this habitat, or we can rename this habitat.
While we wait for them to be collected by the caretakers and brought to the habitat, you should get it ready for them. Add a suitable feeding station, water station, and an appropriate food enrichment item. It's often best to place things like enrichments and feeding stations near to the habitat perimeter so guests can get a really good view of the animals.
Perimeter, right? So, what do we need to do next? Feeding station. Should we get... That's the water station then. Food enrichment done. And finally, it really has some bugs.
Oh, good to see the ostriches have somewhere they can really stretch their legs. Did you know they can actually run at 43 miles per hour?
That's 100 kilometers per
Heaven
hour.
forbid they ever escape. The speed camera finds alone would bankrupt us.
That's a nice joke.
Well, Bernie certainly seems impressed. Did he do his speed camera joke? Every time we get an ostrich. So, now we've made the ostriches' lives a bit better, let's do the same for the keepers, shall we? To make it easier for the keepers to feed the ostriches and hippos, we should build a new keeper hut. Keeper huts are where the keepers prepare the food for animals, so they should be placed near to the habitats to make sure the keepers don't waste their time walking when they should be looking after the animals.
rotate it? How do we rotate? Placement controls. Rotate, okay. Z plus. So we get a keeper hut. And oh, it's like this. Fine. There we go.
This keeper hut only has space for one keeper, but the larger keeper hut can allow multiple keepers to prepare food at the same time. Oh, but bear in mind that keeper huts and other staff facilities shouldn't be placed near to areas where there are lots of guests. Guests don't like seeing facility buildings, and it can affect their happiness negatively. In case that wasn't clear. Something that all facilities, shops, and a whole host of other objects need is power, and that obviously includes your newly built keeper hut. So let's place a transformer next to it, shall we?
Just a second, Nancy, just a second. I need to save again. They really should raise the FPS right now, because playing in 30 FPS, 30 to 35 FPS seems like a chore. A chore or whatever you guys call it. Anyway. What do we need to do? Power the keeper hut. So we need to place...
Now, the reason everything has gone blue is because you're using the power heat map. This map allows you to see what is and what isn't powered in your zoo. So once you've placed your transformer, you can click in the bottom left to turn the heat map off. Lovely work. Now the keepers can start using the hut to prepare food, and thanks to where you've put it, they won't need to walk very far to deliver it to the ostriches and hippos. Let's get on to your next objective then. Bengal tigers. We want to adopt some, but I'm afraid there's nothing ready for them yet. Head on over to the plot of land I've marked out. It's not too far away.
Alright. That's the transformer thing, right? So keep... Ah, there it is.
Righty, your next job is to build a habitat. From scratch. And wood and concrete, I expect. So go ahead and build it. And don't forget the habitat gate. It's always best to place the habitat gate close to the keeper hut. As it happens, there's one quite near to the trade centre. Oh, and make sure the guests will be able to see the tigers.
Where's the keeper hut? Is this the keeper hut? Oh, so we need a habitat gate right here. Right here. Build it. There we go. Give them the maximum amount of space available. The stone thingy is blocking the way. That is why I'm not able to... Ah, We built it over the stone thing. The rock formation, I should say. Now, oh, this appears to be a very small zoo as compared to other bigger zoos I've seen in the gameplay trailers. Please don't scare me like that, man. I thought the game crashed again. I can only imagine how the beta access for the Monster Hunter World Iceborne must be like. There's a steady drone of a transformer. Oh, deleted. The hell we messed up. Let's do this. And we're done. Now we select this. And various. We replace it with this one too. I think we completed it. But I see what we did wrong. Let's hope we do it right this time. Yeah.
Now, Bernie takes safety very seriously at his zoos, so we should probably make sure those tigers can't jump out of their habitat, don't you think? The way we'll do it is by changing the height of the habitat's barrier. Okay then, you should start by double-clicking the habitat barrier, which will take you into barrier editing mode. Great, now highlight the entire perimeter of the habitat. You can do that by clicking and dragging the barrier selection tool. Now you've got all of the perimeter selected, you can increase the height of it by clicking and dragging the barrier height tool upwards. You'll want to make sure it reaches a minimum height of 4 meters.
We only did one wall though, so I think we need to do the other one. Ah, we do it like this, okay. So we raise it like that. Set the boundary to 4 meter high. I did it. Why is it not showing? This one is a bit. Yeah, I had to do it exactly 4 meters. But that sucks, dude. I mean, come on. Let's try it again. Okay, there we go. Now we'll do it exactly 4 meters. There we go. I think we need to replace this bit. No, not this. Come on! What else am I supposed to do here? Set boundary to 4 meter high. Mine is 4 meter high. What else do they want? I don't know. we are not housing a T-Rex in this. Chill out. Can't we skip this by any chance? Shit. So if we do this, not the whole barrier, and it crashed. Oh, it didn't. I was just panicking. Happens. There we go. So we do this. We do this. Another right click on. God damn it. There we go. So now we can directly and done. Come on, man. Now we need to make sure that every barrier is 4 meters. 4 meters, 4 meters, 4 meters, 4 meters, 4 meters. How the hell is it not? Ah, there we go. I saw something about 3.97. There's it. Now we can exit this. Come on, just finish this thing already. Four meters, 4 meters, 4 meters, 4 meters, 4 meters, 4 meters. Don't move that fast. Now it's 4 meters, dude. Now what should I do? Everything is 4 meters now. God damn it. Let's raise this bit sky high. See what happens. Let's make it funny.
Okay, that's the habitat boundary complete, the habitat gate in place, and most importantly, the tigers won't be able to jump out of it anymore. I think it's time we adopted those tigers.
Alright, now we idiot. How are we gonna watch those tigers? Barriers, barriers.
Whilst our trusty caretakers collect and deliver the tigers, let's take a look at preparing the habitat for their arrival. We'll start with the basics. Add a suitable feeding station for them.
Just wait a minute, okay?
This time, instead of adding a water bowl, let's try something different. Some animals need a pool in their habitat so they can go for a swim, but they can also use it to drink from. All you have to do is make sure the banks of the pool have a gentle slope so they can easily get a nice refreshing drink. There's already a pool excavated, but you still need to fill it with water. You should do that by going into terrain and selecting the water tool.
Terrain. Water.
Yes, that'll do nicely. Of course, just like the warthogs and ostriches, these tigers will also need some enrichment. Why don't you add some suitable toy and food enrichment items into their habitat?
Blood pumpkin. That's what they showed in the gameplay trailer. See?
Okay, it's really starting to take shape. Now, the tigers will need a shelter in their habitat so they can hide from the guests, or more likely the bad weather. Although given that we're in England, you might want to think of that just as normal weather. Go on, add a shelter to their habitat. You can either build one from various suitable bits and bobs, or if you like, just pop down the blueprint that I've already built for you.
So now we'll do the blueprint.
Oh, poor Dabs. I'm sure it can't have escaped your attention that the tigers look a bit miffed. That's because they aren't too keen on the type of terrain in their habitat. Select a tiger and bring up its information panel. Rightio, click on the terrain tab. That way you can view the terrain information and see how they feel about the different types of terrain. That'll tell you what the tigers need more of or less of in this habitat.
Less grass.
Okay then, open the terrain editing tool, select painting and give them some more soil. Yes, that should help with the habitat part of their welfare.
Reduce the size a bit. Increase the intensity. on! Stupid heavy soil. Why is it not doing it? Ah, we have to drag it.
Right then. All animals need plants and trees from their own biome or continent. You know, deserts, savannas, or Asia, Europe, that sort of thing. It looks like these tigers need a few more plants in their habitat. To get a perfect fit, use plants from the rainforest and temperate biomes that are native to Asia. Although if you have to, you can get away with using just one or the other. The tigers will also want a certain amount of their habitat to be covered by those plants. To find out which plants to use and how many, select a tiger and go to the Environment tab. Now, as you can see, some of the plants currently in the habitat aren't quite right for the tiger, like the wattle bushes. You can remove them if you want. You can find all of the plants you need in the nature section, and you can use the filters to only show the types of plants you want to see. In this case, that's plants from the rainforest or temperate biomes.
Wattle bushes are... no, not the black. The wattle bushes. These are hawthorn bushes. So, please don't scare me like that. I think I should save them. Right now. Come on. And just a minute guys, let me see if my stream is going well. Okay. How do we find out if they are... severely inappropriate? I think we need to... let's see if Bracken just light up things. No use. Bonds. I gotta try an experiment. No, nothing. What the hell?
Now, as you can see, some of the plants currently in the habitat aren't quite right for the tiger, like the wattle bushes. You can remove them if you want. You can find all of the plants you need in the nature section, and you can use the filters to only show the types of plants you want to see. In this case, that's plants from the rainforest or temperate biomes.
Let's see if this does it, right? Nope. Easier. Come on! Just a second. Let's first delete everything. Okay? Just delete everything. Everything. Now let's see this back. Still have the temperature. Where is it? Is there anything of the temperate biome there? This thing? Delete that too. I think it's pooping. Yep, it's pooping. Nice. Anyway, so filter. You don't need the.
Now, as you can see, some of the plants currently in the habitat aren't quite right for the tiger, like the wattle bushes. You can remove them if you want. You can find all of the plants you need in the nature section, and you can use the filters to only show the types of plants you want to see. In this case, that's plants from the rainforest or temperate biomes.
Yeah, but there's no rainforest biome here. Rainforest and temperate biome. Let's see. I think it's simple. Let's see. Come on. Rainforest and temperate biomes, you said. So we need banana palms and fern. Okay, now I got it. The white bush tree needs to go. Is it the white bush tree? Yes. Delete. So now, show. Upton acacia tree. That needs to go too. Just thorns and let's see. beginning to improve. We still need this. Come on, what else do you need, dude? Now I have to delete it. What the hell? I really don't know what's going on. These corkwood trees need to go. They're just wasting money. Buying shit that doesn't need to be there. Come on, you lazy assholes. Tell me, what do you need exactly? Tropical, temperate, and grassland. Oh, tropical, temperate, and grassland. Let's see. Yep, that is also not needed. This could be useful. Ah! There we go. Now it's beginning to happen. Finally. Just not bragging, not bragging. Finally. We did something, right? No. That's too big. It's too big and...
They say that good fences make good neighbors. I guess that's doubly true when one of the neighbors is a Bengal tiger. Still, those tigers look so happy that I doubt they'd leave. Even if you did poke a hole in their fence. Oh, but for heaven's sake, don't test that theory.
I wanted to, actually.
Right, let's head over to the Indian peafowls. I've been told that we need to improve their social welfare.
Peafowl, okay. So we did this. I think we should save. We'll be having a lot of fun doing this. I tell you. Locate the Indian peafowl habitat. Okay, there it is. What's with the mean?
Now then, just find one of the peafowls and select them to open their information panel. Then we can have a good gander at how they're doing. Although technically, I suppose gandering would just be for geese. Expand their social welfare and we can get a bit more detail.
Social welfare.
Now, they've clearly got plenty of space and they're not stressed, but it looks like their social group isn't quite right. So let's find out more. Click on the social tab at the top of their information panel to see what's wrong. Right, as you can see, the peafowls need their population to be larger. To solve this little problem, you'll need to adopt 3 more female peafowls. Well, off you pop to the animal market. Good work on those peafowls. I expect they'll be delivered soon. But sadly, it sounds like our snow leopard is a bit grumpy. Let's head over there and see what's wrong with her.
Her. Female, eh? Grumpy.
Just like people, animals can suffer from stress if things aren't quite right. You know, like when you see someone put in the milk before the tea bag. In the case of these snow leopards, they're a bit stressed by their lack of privacy. You can lower their stress levels by swapping out the normal glass barriers for one-way glass. It's not a cheap option, but I think they're worth the expense, don't you? This will give the snow leopards somewhere to go when they want to get away from the prying eyes of the guests.
How do we do that? How do we do that? That's it?
Of course, when an animal isn't in its natural biome, it's probably going to be too hot or too cold. Unsurprisingly for the snow leopards, it's too hot. Even with the terrible British weather, you should help cool it down by adding some coolers to their habitat. But let's start by opening up the temperature heat map and having a look-see at the temperature in the leopard's habitat.
Ah, there it is.
As you can see, we already have one cooler in there. Let's pop some more down and get as much of the habitat as chilly as we can. Luckily for us, this habitat already has power, but you'll need to make sure of that in the future. Just so you know, if any part of a habitat is powered, then the whole habitat will be powered.
So we'll plan right here. One more right here. And one more here. No. This game sometimes scares me.
You can find heat maps for all sorts of helpful things, so do be sure to explore them and make good use of them.
Alright.
It'll take a little while for the temperature to adjust once you've added coolers or heaters, but now we've got the coolers in, we can address the leopards' terrain welfare. You see, what the leopards really want in here is snow and rock, so let's make that happen.
Snow and rock.
Vakuso blemtipan krel krakashi, hala ora hengelium atima lusoteka, mutu
Now then, all of that should give you a pretty good understanding of how to make animals happy. So I'd like you to go and check on all the other animals in the zoo and fix up any issues with their habitats. That'll increase the average welfare of the animals across the whole zoo. And that average welfare is a very important statistic. Now, to quickly see how all your animals are doing in the zoo, you should go into zoo management and then into the animals section.
Animals.
As you can see, this list shows you the animals' overall welfare. So if something's amiss, then you can quickly pop over to them using the locate button. Right, I'm off for a cuppa while you make sure all the animals are well looked after.
What the hell is that name? Ulinya Gan Seseg. Who came up with that name for such a beautiful animal? The animal is close to death. Now I need to walk quickly. Animal is close to death. That's not nice. Just save first. Now, just a second, I need to wear some warmer clothing. It's getting a bit chilly in here. Now, let's continue. Animal welfare, where was it? Riddhi, Indian bee farm. Sheep. Welfare. Nutrition. Requires keeper. Animal starving. Okay. I think we need.
Giano Baitidilla la Pagla Deo, Oseba,
Oh, cooler.
Soan Orabusa,
Need some food and
Cansalesho
water.
Cat No Palandelain O. Le ina deza poi fallo o la nesho so wito la nada.
Now it requires a keeper, but how do we do this? Requires keeper. Sure.
Giano Baitidilla la Pagla Deo, Oseba, Soan Orabusa, Cansalesho Cat No Palandelain O.
We need to build this quickly. Somewhere close by. No. That's the train station. Cannot build one. Look at the vacuum thingy for the poop. What's up with the elephant? Boxes. There we go. Animal is close to death. Then this section. What's happening? Requires keeper. You need a keeper for this one too. Okay, so need a keeper station and quick. And the power. The lemur habitat is screwed up. And only that lemur habitat. Animal is close to that dude. Hey, look, there are the animal activists. Should we release a tiger? Just for old time's sake. Let him feed them.
Fable Tiger Sola ora cancer ratio transpoli. Iuari facas canon echion dokido.
Appoint a keeper, dude. What am I supposed to do now? No. Appoint a bloody keeper. Of course it is inefficient. Where is the... Come on, man. What am I supposed to do now? Animal is close to death, dude. I'm getting worried. Oh shit. Everyone in the lemur has died. Come on, keeper. Can we make a vet center? Ah, it's too big. It's very big.
Fyller sig allehanda en lilla moa. Papu toko para en mana ometo. Janse se wipinalli.
I still don't know how to appoint keepers, and they never told us about it. Zoo management. Staff training.
Le monde de l'évangile à Zouk se commence. Yakin السيادة والمكان المش.
Let's see if this works. Call a keeper here, quickly. Is there no gate or anything which can enter?
Ratio and
Après nous, vous mamos. Não, fica perdida.
Let's see. Let's cheat them, goddammit. How to assign? Oh, for crying out loud.
Catch on it.
How inefficient are they? Where's the lemur caretaker?
Sei o amigo existe uma região que eu vou com as lanchotes, a cúpula cerca do acesso leve.
Finally he did some work.
It's on!
Ecco, ora malo, due trova. Plumangiai, puciare, sei già nel tuo amore di tacci, ma sei
Oh, for crying out loud. We need more feeding stations, I guess. Two of them are in the red. Okay. All I can do is box him. That's two lemurs. Three, I guess. Wait, how many? How is it dehydrated if it's drinking? Slow a bit. Well, I think we need a water bowl or something. Finally. What's with the water? Oh shit, look at the amount of blocks.
Come on, Theo, anymore, va? Bravo, Voi la fate spera.
No, merci beaucoup.
Io e quella merda. Che peruli. Oh, cose nu. Ma che mondo sta?
And dehydrated too, okay? So I think the best set of this one. Somewhere close to there. There. It will take some time.
Daar vult er nu en dan ben je nog. Maar voelt ik er wel zich iets aan? Alles vertrouwen. Tiene wel een man dat we gaan doen.
Yes.
That's it, Doris.
There we go. Now what? 75% done. Now we need to check the welfare of every animal.
Yeah, kind of say so, Remy.
Right? Overall welfare. Guest happens. Oh! I forgot one thing. Where's the tiger habitat? This is it? No, this is the ostrich one. Ah, the tiger one. There it is. We need to make the one basin.
Almost another better song in the world.
We also need to make the donation box somewhere. No, not that. By the way, how are the Bengal times? Completely satisfied. As they should be. Now, where was the... Oh, yeah.
Hoe zit dat bij jou vertellen?
Ah, the donation box. Ready.
Ik heb de riemlijn. Bruno Pardo over de pijn.
happy now? Now the enrichment thing. Let me see if we can do something about it. What's the enrichment? Don't really have wild dogs, all species, that stuff. Where's the lemur? Where's the lemur? Ring-tailed lemur. There. So. And the ball thingy. Not this, not this. It's too big. Maybe the cardboard box. That's They are producing lemurs at an alarming rate.
Furry are you out on the bus?
Nutrition. Requires keep. Is there a place nearby so I can make
No, mais c'est bon. Jamais carrément. The province is filling.
where do I place this woman?
What's the balance of you?
Keep a workshop, whatever it is. These trees are getting in the way. Where do I put it? Where do I put it? Where do I put it? Do we have keepers for the pattern of incidents? Tell me we do. Repose. No books.
Jag får säga att de där landet tjänar en ingenjör i Modesta för det.
Now I'm really looking forward to Spending some time with the snow leopard, but what if we deleted this? We would have some area for. Can't delete that. Let's just build it somewhere. No, 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 not this, not this. We do need to fine. And power thing.
E non lo so se
Nale a voi herses gedanti, al permesso la dapan o la
How about now? This is log zone 31, right? How are they supposed to see that I can? Even I can see it. Oh shit, oh shit. Now what? This game doesn't exactly suck, but the guidelines are a bit tedious. So, yeah, finally. Good job, good job. Right. Bracken and foxtail. We need the tropical things, right? So let's get to it. Let's remove the bracken and foxtail. I don't see any. Are they bracken? Ah, these are bracken. Yeah. Delete. Delete. Now. Give me a lemur please. Still bracken there. And foxy. Now, is this foxtail? We need tropical things, you. No, that's bracken. So, now. Terrain setup is enough for these. Less grass, short, okay. More soil. Get in. Good.
Shingalvo fauna and Bomaratane. Tejuemos Tamapadi on Noe Velio.
Tropical. Not the grassland, not the temperate, only the tropical. And Africa. Continent. First things first, we'll clear out the bracken stuff because I think it's getting on the nerves. There's the bracken. Oh, delete. That's it. Now, give me an email. Banana palm and bird seed. First, the banana palm shouldn't obstruct the landing. Maybe you'll make it. That's it, right? Now let's see what part needs attention. None, actually. Yellow. These idiots need attention. What's not doing? So we need to adopt an enrichment. So, first things first. Habitat. Show me the food enrichments. Apple. Are we done? Done. So next, the social group. Okay, we'll trade some. Yes. Animal trading. We need a... How am I supposed to increase this? Not on contraceptives, right? So why is it not reading? No stress. Too few adults in this social. be green for now. Let's move on to the elephants. What's causing them worry? Enrichment. Food enrichment. So, have that. African elephant. So, species has to go from change from this to African elephant. Same thing. They are in the green now. Toy enrichment. Done. Now, what else? Zebras. Food enrichment, I bet. Plain zebra. Food enrichment. There. There. Now the food enrichment. Green. Now the toy enrichment. Good. Toy enrichment includes sprinkler. And the rubbing pillar.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Finally, guys,
It's
we
fair
did
to
it.
say that you've passed the first part of your training with flying colours. There's still lots more to learn, but we'll have to head to another one of Bernie's zoos for that. If you want to grab your passport, we'll head off, shall we?
Sure thing, but for now, we're done.
Sounds like you got the whole zoo purring away nicely. Well, purring, grunting, screaming, booming. All the appropriate noises. I guess I was right to hire you, huh? Hey, don't tell her I told you, but Nancy wasn't sure you'd even last the morning. So, we're happy this is working out. And Nancy owes me a foxy coffee. As strange as it seems, considering we just met, when I look at you, I feel like you're the child I never had. After the one I did have, obviously.
Okay,
But you
that's
see,
getting creepy.
zookeeping's not for my daughter. Don't get me wrong. Emma absolutely loves animals, but she set her sights somewhat higher. Wants to save the entire planet. I'll just settle for saving a couple of species. And maybe having a type of frog named after me.
So, now what? We're done with the scenario. So there you have it, guys. We are done with the scenario and thank you. Now we exit to the main menu and find out what else is there. But before that, we save again because why not? Alright. So now we're done. We head back to the main menu. Yes, yes. It was a fun thing, but they really need to fix the frame rate drops and the FPS cap.
Whoa. Whoop.
Alright, we'll go into that maybe tomorrow or the day after. That being said, that's done for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed and hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave a like, share and subscribe, and take care guys. I'll be closing shortly. I think I need to reply to a message. Whoever that is. I'm replying right now. So, just a minute. That being said, I think it's time to call it a day with this thing. I'll be streaming Lego Marvel Superheroes this evening at the usual time, so yeah. Thanks for watching guys, and hope you have a pleasant day or night, wherever you're situated. So yeah, take care guys.